Hey everybody, this is Ta. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 and 5 hike that I did. It was hiking up five times up a specific hike. This fairly decently hard, specifically for somebody who is my weight or size. And so I just wanted to make sure that, hey Bryce, um, so kind of give you a background on this specific hike. So it's not too far away from where I live currently, and all growing up throughout junior high and high school, it was kind of the thing to go and hike up it, and so my friends and I would go up, and Bryce is one of them. He's on this live with me, and we'd go up and we'd hike this hike, and then as we got to the point where we got better and better at it, we would kind of, I don't know, run up it and run down it. I don't think specifically for me it was running up and running down. Uh, it was more trying to keep up the whole time. But as time kind of went on and as the years went on, what we did was we ended up going and uh, hiking up it to prepare for Spartan races. And if you don't know what a Spartan race is, which you probably should, it's more along the lines of obstacle race, running through the mountains, doing crazy obstacles, climbing walls, stuff like that. So this hike specifically was really good for that purpose of getting you trained for those kind of races. I kind of decided to do this 5 and 5. I was looking at the the criteria of what I needed to do for my social media account for my class, and it said that I needed to, for one full week, do something and keep track of it. And I thought about this one time when my best friend Bryce, he kind of when he can attest to this in the comments, where he decided to do it every single day until one of our big races, the Spartan World Championships. And he really liked the idea of every day after work just going and running up it and running up it. And he got really good at it. And I remember him counting how many times he did it. And by the time, I think it was 30, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, by the time he hit 30 times, it was like a big deal to hit that 30. And so I kind of wanted to do that. And I wanted to see how it would be to go consistently. Because normally I would only go up like once, and I would be so toasted from it that I wouldn't be able to do it for months afterwards. Oh, good. 30 times is correct. Good. Okay. I kind of figured it was 30 times. But yeah, so I wanted to try the 5 and 5, and I will tell you right now, it was pretty darn hard. I remember Bryce saying that he would get home from work and he'd be like, okay, I have to go up and hike this. I have to go up and hike this. And I hit 30 the night before. Nice. I hit 30 before I left the night for the Spartan race. That's right. That is right. I can't remember. Did I go to that Spartan race with you, or was that the year I wasn't there? I kind of wonder on that one. Oh well. You'll correct me. So when I chose to do this 5 and 5, it was a little daunting. And I have to admit that there were so many times where I really wanted to just back out of it completely, to not do it. And it was really hard. That was my first one. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's really good. So 30 times right before your very first one. Definitely better training than I did. So I remember the night before my first hike up, when I did this 5 and 5, and I kind of was nervous about it, and I was laying out my clothes for it. I came with you the next year. Got it. Sometimes I'm getting too old, so I can't remember certain things anymore, specifically from that far back. But no, I remember feeling like I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was feeling really self-conscious about my weight, about being by myself, because a majority of the time that I've gone hiking up this, I've done it with other people, and so all that night, very fitful rest. Woke up the next day, and it almost felt like something was just the clock was ticking down, and I was running out of time. And I remember sitting at work watching the clock, and it felt like my work day was going by so much faster than I wanted it to. And by the time it was time to go, and I first time ever, I decided, I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave work right now, because I didn't want to have to do this hike, even though I was like, okay, I have to do it for 5 days in a row. This is nuts. And so what I ended up doing was kind of psyched myself up for it. And one of the things that when Bryce and I went to Iceland, he was talking about how this lady told him, if you want to go somewhere or see something, just go. Or if you want to do something, just go and do it. And he kind of takes that as his mantra of just go. And so I remember standing at the bottom of the mountain, and I'm like, just go, just do it. Like, it'll be okay. Like, there's no time limit. Well, you don't want to be up there when it's dark. But I remember there not being a time limit to how long it would take for me to get up there. It's normally around about a 2-hour hike, and that's if you're pretty fast. And I mean, moderately fast, I guess is the best way to put it. And I got to the point where I decided that I was just going to kind of focus on the positive and be very positive about my attitude as I went up there. Needless to say, within the first little bit, kind of going back a little bit, I drove by the start of the hike, and it looked like it was under construction, so I wasn't able to go to the main area and start the hike right where it normally starts. So I actually ended up driving about 2 miles, 3 miles down the road to another entry point and hiking basically those 3 miles just to get to the bottom of the hike that I was going on. So that kind of toasted me right off the bat. And I remember getting there and just being like, I still have all the way to this waterfall that's at the end to get. And that positive attitude in my brain was just like, just keep going. You're okay. You got this. Just go. Just do it. And I got about halfway up, and I was sucking air is the best way to put it. For people who work out quite a bit, like when you're not fit enough, you basically suck air. And I remember feeling very very tired and wanting just to turn around and walk back and go back down the mountain and not finish, I guess is the best way to put it. I really did not have the energy to go all the way up. And so when that moment came to me, and I was trying so hard to force myself to be positive, I just remember thinking to myself, you can stop anytime you want. You can take as many breaks as you want, and you can drink as much water as you want, and eat as much food as you want. You can enjoy the scenery, whatever you need. But you just have to make it to the top. You just have to be able to push yourself just that far enough. One step at a time, just keep going. And it became a little bit easier, and a little bit easier, and a little bit easier. And I remember by the time I made it almost to the top, I could see the top, and I just got this rush of energy just flowing through me of, oh my gosh, I might actually do this, and actually pretty fast. So I decided to push along and go, and I ended up taking a picture at the end of it, and there's a nice beautiful waterfall at the very end of it. It's kind of like the prize. At least in my mind, that's kind of where it went to. I was really proud of myself for what I ended up doing, and the accomplishment I had, even though it was the first day. So I ended up going even, so the next day it was a little bit easier. And I remember finding the opening to the canyon was actually open. It wasn't under construction. So I wasted all that time on the other one, and I went an extra 6 miles because it's 3 miles in and 3 miles back on top of that. And so I really did it to myself. But I remember leaving work the second day, and it wasn't even a thought of not doing it or I'm tired, even though I was really tired and really sore. And I just remember sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? Like, it's going to be fine. Like, you're going to have to keep doing it. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And really kept that positive attitude that I had the first day. And the second day was a breeze. I felt so much better. I was able to get up the mountain a lot faster. I had a smile on my face a majority of the time. And when I made it up to the waterfall, I just remember thinking to myself, like, that's number 2. That's great. All right, get down the mountain, go home. You've got homework to do. You've got stuff to do. And so I had all this energy. And I just remember I started picking up speed, running down the mountain. And Bryce, you definitely understand running down that trail. It hurts your knees a little bit, just a tiny bit. But the third day, it was very easy. Almost too easy. I didn't feel tired. When I was walking, I remember pausing for the first little bit and realizing that I needed to enjoy what I was doing. That if I wasn't enjoying it, then what's the point of it? What's the point of being able to say that I did these 5 if I never really enjoyed it? And so the third day, I took my time. I didn't try to go as fast as I could. I didn't try to do as much as I possibly could. I just walked, and anyone on the trail I saw, I would say hi to, wave to them, smile at them. And I remember these 2 teenage girls coming down the trail, and one of them turns to me and says, "Don't worry, you're almost there. It's right around the corner. You're almost there." And as I walked by him, I chuckled and laughed because I was like, I'm pretty sure I've walked this trail more times in the last decade than you've been, alive. Years you've been alive, or days you've been alive, probably. And it was really quite interesting to kind of see that generation younger than me enjoying the same things I enjoyed when I was their age. And doing the same things. And I remember I used to say the same thing to people when we were on our way up and they were huffing and puffing and really just didn't seem like they were doing too well. And, oh, don't worry, you're almost there. And when you're on day 3 of the exact same hike and someone says that, there's a little bit of annoyance to it because you're like, I know I'm almost there. Like, you don't need to tell me this. Like, I did it yesterday and the day before. But I kind of just laughed and was just like, you know what, they're enjoying it, whatever. And the entire way up, I was never tired, just really felt good about everything. And I remember walking down as well. And walking down the trail, I started to really see the beauty in the area that surrounded the trail itself. I have that trail memorized. Every path, every bridge, every corner and turn. I know when I'm getting to a certain point. I know where the halfway points are. But I didn't know that at one point you could actually turn around, closer to the top, and it has a perfect shot of directly just out into nothing, and you don't see any buildings or anything, but you can see everything else in the distance, mountains in the distance and stuff like that. And the sun kind of hits just at the right angle, and it just glows. Everything in that specific area just lights up. And I remember there was these storm clouds that were coming in. So I had the sun setting, and it was bright orange, and then these storm clouds were kind of like rolling in, and they were dark and black. And it was a very good contrast. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I can't forget the spot. How come I've never seen this spot before? And I don't think I'll ever forget exactly where that spot is anymore, because every time after that, the last 2 times I went up, I stopped at that exact same spot and just kind of looked, and every time it was different. It felt different. The 4th day, my heart was not necessarily in it. I had so much going on at work, so much to do, and I really kind of felt like I was like, I just don't have time for this. I can't do this. I'm so tired. My bones are achy. And so I kind of begrudgingly did it. That day was terrible. I remember hurting so bad. I felt like it was day 1 all over again. And I kind of, by the time I got up to the top, I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. Like, this is dumb. What am I doing? Like, why am I putting myself through this? My feet hurt, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, everything. I couldn't feel my calf muscles anymore. They were completely numb. And it just felt like a chore all of a sudden. And on my way back down, I kind of realized that it had lost its allure for me. That I had spoiled it somehow by not appreciating it from the very beginning, or appreciating it years back. Because now it just became something I do. And I kind of took that into my life, my personal life, of like, how many things in my life do I have that same issue with? How many things in my life do I kind of just go, you know what, it's there and I have to do it. So whatever, I don't really care. And I remember getting down from the mountain that night and getting in my car to leave, and just kind of just being mentally exhausted from how everything went. And it really kind of showed me where my weaknesses were, mentally and physically. And there's one thing that I've always wanted to try to learn, and that was how to be unbreakable mentally, to be able to push myself just past that moment or that point in my life where I wouldn't have to worry about having that issue of being like, can I do this? Can I not? Am I good enough? Am I not? And really questioning those kind of things. And the next day, I started hiking up, and there was a guy who every day I saw him running up the mountain, and he wore all black button-up shirt, black pants, black shoes, and he just had sunglasses on. And I would always see him at the very beginning of the trail, and he would just take off running. And I would normally see him about halfway down, like he'd be on his way back, and I would only be maybe a quarter of the way up, and he had already gone all the way up to the top and back. And it just he came back, and he was coming back down the mountain, and he's like, that is a full week, man. Like, you really did it. Like, you got a full week of running in. Like, how do you feel? And I just remember, like, I was like, you know what, man? Like, I feel good. I feel great. And on the 5th time, I actually forgot to bring my phone. I left it sitting in my car. And so when I got up to the top, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a picture. I opened up my backpack, and I was like, where's my phone? because had decided at that point not to listen to music on the fourth day, because music kind of it felt like it just wasn't working for me. And so, like, I didn't have my earphones, I didn't have that stuff. I opened up my bag and I was like, oh my gosh, I left my phone sitting in the cup holder of my car. And I'm like, and I'm all the way at the top, and I'm like, there's no way for me to acknowledge that I made it. And I went into this like self-doubt moment of like, why did I do this? Like, I'm going to have to go and do it tomorrow just so I can get a picture and prove that I did it. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I was just like, you know what? No, I don't. I'm good. Like, I don't have to prove anything. I know what I did. I know how I feel about it. And it was a good feeling to be self-loving at that moment. To have that opportunity to kind of realize that I don't need my technology to prove that I did anything. And so on my way down, I just ran down it and really enjoyed the birds and the trees and the wind and everything that was going on. And it kind of was that moment where I missed a lot of things, and I missed the ability to, one, I missed the ability to go run it with my friend Bryce, who's on, the only one watching this right now. But that was a big one, actually. But also at the same time, like, realizing the beauty that's around me, and that I can take the opportunity to appreciate that beauty and not have to hurry or rush through things anymore. I'm at an age in my life where I don't want to just, miss you too, man, where I don't want to really rush through anything. I really want to start enjoying it, enjoying family and friends and the situations I'm in, the people I work with, those kinds of things. And so that's kind of the thing I took away from my 5 and 5. It was definitely not easy physically, but I remember feeling better about myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all those kinds of things. So yeah, that's my story of the 5 and 5, and I really appreciate I appreciate Bryce for being here and watching my my live video, and anyone else who ends up watching it later. I really appreciate you watching and listening to what I have to say. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you guys later. Okay, have a good one.